Color defects. They're one of the most frustrating and costly challenges in polymer processing, right? So, in this explainer, we're going to build a step-by-step guide to help you not just identify, but actually solve these issues for good. Let's get right into it.
Oh man, we've all been there. You get the lab sample, the color match is absolutely perfect. But then, the first parts come off the production line and your heart just sinks. They're covered in defects. It's a moment every single processor dreads.
The pressure is on, right? Every single bad part is money straight down the drain, and that clock is ticking. The first thing you want to do is just start tweaking settings on the machine, but honestly, that usually just makes things more confusing. So the real question is, where do you even begin?
Okay, this is where we stop panicking and start investigating. To solve any defect, you really have to think like a detective. You need a system, a proper toolkit to uncover what's really going on.
What's so powerful about this is how simple it is. I'm telling you, every color defect, no matter how complicated it seems, can be traced back to one of these four suspects: the base material, the pigment you're using, the machine itself, or your processing parameters. This is where the investigation always starts.
And this is absolutely crucial. If you don't identify which one of those four suspects is the real source of the problem, any change you make is just a shot in the dark. You might get lucky, sure, but more often than not, you're just going to waste a ton of time and material. We need data, not guesswork. All right, detective, let's open our first case file. We're looking at one of the most common offenders out there: black specks. Those tiny little dots that can completely ruin an otherwise perfect product. So, the evidence is pretty clear. You've got these random black points scattered all over the part, and they're especially easy to see on high-gloss surfaces. The primary suspects? Well, it's almost always related to material degradation. You've got burnt residue in the barrel, some kind of machine contamination, or you're just running the process way too hot.
So here's your action plan. First things first, control that temperature. Go and check your settings against the material datasheet. Second, if the problem is still there, it's time for a deep clean. A really good purge will get rid of that degraded gunk. And finally, go check your screen pack for any blockages where material could be sitting around for too long and just burning.
Let's move on to our next case, uneven color. Now, this is kind of a broad category. It covers everything from streaks and flow lines to just inconsistent patches of color.
The visual evidence here is pretty distinct. You might see lines that follow the exact path the plastic took when it filled the mold. Or you might see parts of the product that are noticeably lighter or darker on the very same piece. The suspects here? It's all about the mix. The pigment just isn't getting spread out evenly. This could be because of poor mixing, inconsistent feeding of the Masterbatch, or your injection speed is all over the place.
Okay, so the action plan here is all about improving that mix. First, try increasing the back pressure. That's going to force a much more intense blend. Second, optimize your screw speed, your RPM, to get a nice uniform melt. And third, if you want ultimate precision, use a gravimetric feeder. See, dosing by weight instead of volume is just way more accurate and consistent.
Our third and final case file for today covers a tricky category: surface flaws. These are the defects that show up right on the skin of the part, things like blooming or those dreaded silver streaks.
The evidence here can be kind of subtle.
A white, chalky, or even oily film on the surface, that's a classic sign of blooming, which usually points to way too much additive. Silver streaks? That's a dead giveaway for moisture in your raw material. And if the part just looks kind of faded, it could mean the pigment carrier you're using just isn't compatible with your base resin.
So this action plan really highlights how important material prep is. The solution starts before the plastic even gets near the machine. First, double-check your drawing process. Is it the right temperature for the right amount of time? Second, check your dosage. Is it too high? Try reducing it. And third, always confirm that your Masterbatch carrier is fully compatible with your base polymer.
Okay, so we've looked at some specific cases, but now let's zoom out to the single most important principle. This applies to every single problem you will ever face.
1. That's it. That's the number you have to remember. One defect has one single identifiable root cause. It's not a crazy combination of 5 different things all happening at once. It's one thing.
And here's the bottom line. You have to stop putting band-aids on symptoms and start fixing the root cause. Think about it, right? If you have a headache because you're dehydrated, you don't just take a painkiller, you drink water. The logic is exactly the same here.
This slide shows you exactly what I mean in the real world. Over on the left, you see the common mistakes: trying to reduce the pigment to hide black specks, polishing a part with blooming, or changing the whole color to hide streaks. And on the right, the correct approach: find the source of the contamination, fix the additive dosage, and fix the mixing process. You have to fix the cause, not just cover up the symptom. So I'll leave you with this question. Based on everything we've talked about, what is the one data point? Maybe it's a temperature reading, a back pressure setting, a drying time. What's that one thing you can check right now to solve your biggest color challenge? Because that's where the real work begins.
So the next time you see black speck, streak, color patches or blooming in your product, don't just blame the color Masterbatch. The real cause could be hidden in your raw material processing condition, machine cleanness or formulation. Remember, every color defect tells a story. If you know how to identify the root cause, you can save time, reduce rejection and improve product quality. In the next video, we will discuss more real-life color matching and troubleshooting case from the plastic industry. So make sure to like, share and subscribe to Secret Polymer Tech for practical QC production and R&D. Knowledgeable. See you in the next video. Thank you.